Good day to you on February 8th to Anagalactic, where we are studying cosmic science, and now we're about to complete a synthesis sequence. Boy, oh boy, look at that donut. You might ask, why is there a black spot in the middle? Processing. This is not a photograph. And it is not a photograph of a supermassive black hole, although it's labeled as that wherever it's published. This is a propaganda picture. So what it purports to show is a supermassive black hole, actually the one in Sagittarius. This is not a photograph, and that is not a supermassive black hole. So why would highly paid scientists stop right there? It's to promote the program that's underway. This requires enormous amounts of money. Well, you know where that comes from. Well, as my dear Scottish mother would say, who's we, white man? She actually said this, many times. This is a government propaganda photograph. This purports to show the most fascinating object ever seen by the eyes of blind mathematicians. It's a mock-up. It was done by computerized hands to manipulate data that is so difficult to gather that it's worth it just to find out how they were able to doll this up into anything. That black spot in the middle is not really there. Otherwise, you would be looking at a donut, wouldn't you? Well, they put that black dot in there in order to make it look like what they want it to be. The accretion disk is one of those fancy-dancy pseudoscientific terms that pseudoscientists make up to cover their money trail so they will live happy lives at the expense of the next generation of scientists who are children. The lie in the sky. This is my coffee mug, which you can see is a Peanuts theme. The famous Charles Schulz. My mother actually knew Charles Schulz because, of course, everybody loved Peanuts. Well, this is from the Wikipedia article on the SMBH. Now, this is a genuine photograph. This is the galactic band called the Milky Way. That is not the same as this. This is not a visual image. It's a manipulation of a data set having to do with relative brightness in certain ranges. It is literally impossible to see to the center of the galaxy. It can't be seen. It's not possible. Well, it's also impossible to land on the surface of Venus, and yet the Russians in the 1960s, 70s, and 80s landed on the surface of Venus, which has a pressure density of 90 Earth atmospheres, and the temperature is greater than that of molten lead or tin. And yet they landed on that goddamn surface 13 times and finally got not only visual images of the surface of Venus, but also got audio images of what would be called the wind, although it's quite strange on Venus. The impossible is being done, and it blows away the minds of little men such as myself, perhaps yourself as well. So that is a real photograph. This is called an artist's imagination, but it is labeled in Wikipedia as the gamma ray bubble at the center of the Milky Way galaxy. Now this again is Sagittarius. That would be in the direction of the center of the galaxy. How do we have all this data? Computers. This is one of my favorite shots. I have used a telescope to look into this region. It's exactly as dense with stars as you can see here. And this is more or less a close-up. This is a close-up of that same image. Sagittarius, part of the band again. The label for this is quite fascinating. It says, the detection of an unusually bright X-ray flare from the SMBH. That's not quite true. This is propaganda. That, I think, is an amazing photograph. This is a bird's eye view, or I guess you'd have to say an angelic-sized view of our Milky Way seen from the North Pole down. You can see it's made of arms. Now we want to know what, in fact, is the supermassive black hole, if indeed there is such a thing.
How do you know it is real?
I asked a very simple question of the famous Google chatbot. Why are the photographs of supermassive black holes fake and misleading? And it answered me. The reason, this is just quoting from the robot, the reason that those photographs are fake and unreal is that they're not photographs. They are highly processed, indirect visualizations of radio data rather than direct photos. Okay, so I did not make that up. And now we have Becky, Dr. Becky, and you can actually look her up. It's Dr., that's DR with a period. You have to put the period in. Dr. space Becky. What does Dr. Becky say to help us? She asks a question, is the famous black hole image wrong? Now, AI has given some choices here on other questions I might want to ask. Are there any real photos of a black hole? Let's see what it says. We just expand. Oh, it says yes. And, but you have to read the whole thing, and then you have to check the references. You have to find out who made the so-called photo. You have to check their data. You have to question the people who did the research. And you have to find out how much they lied. I don't know if you've noticed the number of homeless people, but rich white boys don't like to live in the street. So if the government is handing out billions of dollars to lie, get in line. It's so easy to do. You just tell the kids that they're from monkeys and they're dirt, they're amoebas. There is no such thing as religion. That is just pure superstition that your ape-like ancestors taught to you, so that you would never learn the truth and the church would be able to rape your daughters and sisters. That's what the white scientists say. So for them to just make up this shit is absolutely survival of the fittest. So this was so celebrated. I just have no expressions to tell you. There has been one other attempt to photograph an SMBH. It's called Messier 87, also called an elliptical galaxy. I've studied this for decades. It's one of the most famous galaxies. I am a galactic astronomer. It's close to our galaxy, close enough that you can see it with a telescope. It is a spherical galaxy. So we do have a sphere near our galaxy, which is much bigger than our galaxy. Much bigger, and I won't try to tell you how much bigger, because you can look that up. But it's vastly bigger. And it looks like a sphere if you look at it with a telescope. Now, the Event Horizon Telescope has taken a good look at that galaxy because it is theorized that there is a SMBH at the center. One would assume so. I don't question that assertion, but it does have a lot to do with what you mean by an SMBH. Well, as you can guess, there has been, and yeah, wait for it, oh boy, Oh, yes, they're dead. Serious. There it is. Does that look like a realistic photograph? It's not. It's not a photograph at all. So I think you see that something strange is going on here. Yes, it's called billions of dollars of government welfare money for mathematic cripples. And thank you so much for your patience. However, there is some reality to this phenomenon. Actually, it is so profound that I will be devoting a series of videos starting now on just what is that thing that everybody imagines is at the center of every galaxy. Every galaxy in the universe has one of these objects at the center. If indeed it's even reasonable to call it an object. That has never been proved. And it's now at least surmisable that that thing is an object. And that tends to prove that it's not. It's not an object. Because this whole exploration of astronomical science and astrophysics wonders, for the sake of humanity, the government is not interested in educating you about the wonders of the universe. It has its own plan, and then humans are exposed to the same data that the beast is getting for whatever it wants. There is no such thing as an altruistic science program. You can't fool me that easily, although I still can be fooled, as I found out recently. Oh, I'll always be susceptible to that. Oh, it's powerful. Very powerful. But is the SMBH a real thing? Yes. Is it an object? Yes. Okay, does it have a singularity? Yes. Does anybody understand what they're talking about? No. Not until I came along. That's why I'm broadcasting. I am now going to demonstrate for you. I have discovered the geometry that explains everything in the universe. From the quantum level, to the subnuclear, to the subatomic, to the molecular, to macro scale, to the 7 layers of heaven, all the way beyond infinity, as my master Buzz Lightyear would put it. I discovered non-Euclidean geometry, and I discovered nonlinear numbers. Thank you very much. We'll be back with the truth about the SMBH. Stay tuned.